Well, look at that. 8 o'clock. We're live. I'm on time. Imagine that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. I hope you all had an absolutely wonderful night. I know I did. I had a night that I tell you, you can't put words to it. Yeah, what a night. So I figured this morning do a little recap type of a thing. Um, there's some stuff I really want to see on Twitter, and I want to share because the Twitterverse has been blowing up hard. Let me get to it. I'm a little discombobulated this morning. I actually got some sleep last night. Imagine that. Oh, oh. We had a couple come from Florida, all the way from Florida, to come up here and see us and spend time with us. Can you just for a second think about that? You're gonna go on vacation and go and hang out with people that are free can read. That's kind of, you know, the people. There were people from England and Ireland. They came on vacation from wherever they started, but they came to Denham. They came to the courthouse. They came to see what we're all doing in supporting Karen Reed. So, yeah. Um, you know, I'm not sure about you guys, but there's some I'm looking at documents here, and I'm not sure we want to go over them. They're the documents in regards to Cassandra in Farwell. They uh they include some pretty heinous stuff. So I'm not sure that I want to do that, to be honest with you. A couple of reasons, okay? One, it's probably too early for that. Two, that type of stuff bothers me. That 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 type of thing. It's an issue. Um, whatever. All right. There's something here I would like to play. Get this going on you guys. Start this off. Is it this one? Where are you? There we go. All right. See Sean. Let's do a little Sean in the morning. You ready, guys?
Brian, hey, Higgy, how you like this, Higgy?
Higgy.
How you like the fact that
Higgy.
Chucky Salucci told your little girlfriend, don't ever let my son down that piece of shit's house and sandwich? Higgy, did you like that? Did you like that, Higgy? Right? Now you get the cops against you, right? He already hates Brian Albert, right? But he found out his 12-year-old kid, or how old he is down at your friggin' house in Sandwich. Right? What the hell you doing, Brian, with kids? You're not a father figure. You're not even a fucking husband figure. You're a shell of a man, right? You're a shell of a man. You always had no confidence at all. To this day, how old are you? 50, 55? You've got no confidence as a man. You're a little pussy. All you had was a fucking badge and a gun. And Brian Albert. And then little short and shiny, all he had was you. You're all a bunch of fucking pussies. And you're all going down. Berkey, you better get ready. I heard you're nice and healthy now. They had you down at some fucking restaurant not too long ago.
All right. So I would say that maybe Sean doesn't like Higgy. Maybe. Is that what you guys thinking? Are we thinking this? Because there's something else about Higgy. My man, Higgy. Flipperhead did a nice thing about that, and I would love to show you guys that. And I'm gonna. Where are you? Oh, maybe it was a response that he gave. No. Here we go. Is this it? Yeah, let's watch this. This is important, okay? All right. Let me share this one. And we're going to get there, guys. You'll we're going to get into that a little more. Oh, there's Lisa. Good morning, Lisa. All right. This is the Higgy day today. Higgy. My man. We got some stuff to tell you about him. All right, here we go.
You had a formal interview with some folks prior to your testimony at a prior proceeding. You understand what I'm talking about?
I'm tracking.
Okay. At the formal interview, which is what I'm going to call that,
Okay.
the formal interview, you were asked about Brian Albert and his reputation, were you not? Yes or no?
Yes.
You indicated in that formal interview that even Chief Berkowitz was quote, a little afraid of Brian Albert.
All right, so that is the objection sustained. That's stricken. I'll see you at sidebar.
Oh, my God.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. You're also relatively close friends. In addition to being close friends with Brian Albert, you're also relatively close friends with his brother, Kevin, correct?
I am.
Kevin Albert is a detective.
All right. So that is between Higgins and Albert there. And you got to love Karen's attorneys. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. You going to talk to him tonight? Nice. That's awesome. Very, very cool. I think you'll enjoy that time. Mark's going to meet Sean tonight, everybody. Isn't that quite a special life? That's pretty awesome. Found the time to meet with you. That's awesome. See? Again, we have the best of the best here. Nowhere else. Here. All right. I haven't watched this one. It's a 30-second clip about Lank. Lank. Officer Lank. This is the Officer Lank that wasn't supposed to be promoted after the Lapalano brothers. Please pass the pepper. Coffee time. Thank you, Dr. Pepper. You know, you guys with the Cash Apps and the Venmos, I love you guys. I really do. That people don't realize it, but like StreamYard costs money. YouTube costs money. The internet costs money. Stuff like that, right? The gas to drive around, to go from here to there costs money. And you guys are great. You guys are wonderful. Cash App and Venmo, they're at the bottom of the screen. It's easy to find. CPUTOM. If you want to do that, Cash App, Venmo. Also, email. I love getting emails from you guys. You guys are the best. I got to say that right off the bat. I don't know what Will gets. I don't know what Aiden gets. I don't know what Brian gets or Mike. But I know what I get. And I get the best emails from you guys. You guys are the bomb. My email, so you guys know, again, kind of easy, CPUTOM@gmail. Send me an email, and I can kick it to the mods if I need to, or whatever. Speaking about mods, let's talk about mods. I got the most beautiful mods on the internet. Yeah. My mods that are here, you guys really, really should meet them. I don't know how I ended up with such awesome freaking people in my life that they look out for me. They try and keep me out of trouble, which is a full-time job. But they believe in me. They believe in the channel. They believe in you guys. You know, they want to bring the stuff to you guys. They help me bring this stuff to you guys. So without the mods, you guys wouldn't get half of what you get. And I'm convinced of that. And again, I can't say thank you to the mods more than I can say it, you know. They really do a lot of work. And they're the best. They're the best on the internet. Hands down. And I got nothing else to say about that. Well, I do have a lot to say, but I won't. Right, Shelby? All right. Where's this Lanka? Get some Lank going. This is the Morning Lank show.
Oh, Lank got
All right. Let's just stop this, back it up. And you guys ready for a little Lank this morning? A little Lanka? Here we go. Chicken palm.
and Lanka shows up. Of course, Lanka's the first one on the scene. And what does he rule? Oh, she's a suicide. You don't even look around the apartment. He sees there's a broken necklace on the floor. He didn't think that was a clue. He thought there's laundry. There's laundry in the washer and dryer. He doesn't think that's suspicious. And what happens to Lanka? Oh, Lanka got a promotion for that. Every time Lanka covers for one of his scumbag McAlbert friends, it seems like he gets yet another promotion. And I know Chicken Palm Charlie's sitting there right now, drinking his iced coffee at home, and it's all his fault. All the corruption in this town stinks.
Okay. So that's Lank. And again, right? This is so Canton, it hurts. When he and Brian, who you just saw, were drinking, Brian had a problem. I'm sorry, Chris Albert, not Brian. My goodness. Lank and Chris Albert are drinking. Chris Albert gets in the fight, gets his ass kicked. Lank comes and helps him. Lank handcuffs the guys and puts them under arrest because he activated himself even though he was drunk. He arrested them. He bit them while in cuffs, spit on them while in cuffs, you know, stuff like that. And they sued and they won. So you're welcome. Thank you, Canton. You guys just keep paying out. But part of that of him getting punished, say punished, that ain't the right word. It's Canton. Him after him biting somebody, punching somebody, kicking somebody, spitting on somebody while they're handcuffed, they gave him a promotion. Town of Canton, chief of police gave him a promotion. Thank you, Helena. Thank you. And we're gonna go, well, she wasn't chief at the time, and you know, it's really not her fault, and you just don't like women. Yeah, right here. I just don't like Chief Helena Rafferty. Talk about a waste of a uniform. My goodness. And I'm gonna tell you, the only reason that she is chief of police, not because of her abilities, because she sucks. The only reason she's in that position is to keep a lid on everything. That's why. No other reason at all. None. Not because, hey, she's a woman, or hey, she's a great police chief, or hey, this is it. Nothing. The only reason she's the chief of police is keep the lid on this whole nonsense. No other reason. All right, Scotty. Give me a second, bud. Copy. Now, if you look at, you know, Kevin Albert, you know Kevin, right? He gets his job back. Now, if you or me, for example, had a license to carry a firearm, which is possible to have, right? It's America. Hold on, I gotta try and get this. I just lost my train of thought.
You want me to send it to him?
Would you please, Shelby?
Yes, I can send it to him.
Thank you so much.
Scott, check your Facebook.
Nice. So he wasn't supposed to be promoted, and yet he was. Canton. This guy goes out drinking with Michael Proctor, leaves his gun in his badge somewhere. Drinking. Like when you have a permit to carry or license to carry a firearm, number one rule, you cannot carry that firearm under the influence of anything. I guess Proctor, he's above the law. He is above the law. So isn't Kevin Albert. Above the law. And you know who does that? Chief of Police. Helena. Helena is the one that puts these people up there and out there. It bothers me. So while we're waiting for Scott, I'm going to play this. This is beautiful. This will make you mad. You're welcome. Here we go, guys.
I did hand something to Lieutenant Tully, but he didn't take any notes in reference to what I handed him.
What'd you hand him?
I handed him a piece of mail that I got at my.
Higgins got a piece of mail.
I handed him a piece of mail that I. My residence.
Anything having to do with this case?
Oh, I believe so.
Was that turned over to Mr. Lowry?
No, I turned it over to state police.
Okay, stop. Evidence has to be turned over to the other side, to the defense. He gave that letter to Tully. It has to do with the case. Karen never received it. That's against the law. That's against the rules.
Your Honor, may we approach for a second?
Yes.
In that piece of mail that you handed to Lieutenant Tully, was there any other exchange of documents or anything like that? Were you shown anything in anticipation of your testimony?
The only thing I can be recalled showing was a photograph of the exterior of 34 Fairfield Road in Canton.
What you indicated in that formal interview that even Chief Berkowitz was
Objection.
quote, a little afraid of Brian Albert.
All right. So that is the objection sustained. That's stricken. I'll see you at sidebar.
You're also relatively close friends. In addition to being close friends with Brian Albert, you're also relatively close friends with his brother, Kevin, correct?
I am.
Where did that interview take place?
Sharon, Mass.
I'm sorry?
Sharon, Mass.
At what location?
Sorry?
What location?
Objection.
Look at Lally.
I'll see counsel very quickly at sidebar.
The interview was not at the police station.
It was not, no.
Imagine that. Why would you not interview somebody in a recorded room? All right, Scotty boy, we're here, bud.
Morning, Tommy.
Morning. How are you, my friend?
Where's Mike?
He's on vacation. He's enjoying himself with his lovely wife and the beautiful dogs they got. They're just kicking it and loving it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember him saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you, bud?
Good. I watching Sean's
He's just
show last night. Did you see any of that?
with the Whitey thing, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was great guest.
Yep, she was dynamite. Dynamite.
You know, and she's, you know, her father was killed by, you know, the Winter Hill Gang and Whitey Bulger, and we had
Uh-huh.
Billy Bulger in the State House.
Yep.
We had corrupt FBI working with the Winter Hill Gang. All that history.
So,
Yeah.
so Scott, you're familiar with that whole back end, we'll say, right?
Right, like when we get called like crazy when we talk about the depth or height of corruption.
Yep.
Especially in Massachusetts history. A lot of people just forget all this stuff.
Exactly. Life.
And they forget the generational thing and corrupt Massachusetts treasurers and the history of these people, even the history of Bev Canoni and how she became a judge and who her father knew and what was going on in the 70s and
And Scott,
the generational corruption, all that stuff.
you're absolutely, absolutely correct. And I'll tell you how I know, because I was part of that generational corruptness type of a thing. I was part of that growing up. Like, I know how Morrissey got his job. He got his job because of my grandmother. My grandmother's the one that put him in that position.
Right.
So,
That's
the whole, if people can just take a second and realize that the system is not only broken, but it's corrupt and it's set up to take care of the minions like us, not the protected people.
well, the only thing that's been giving me hope lately is, when you look to the Whitey Bulger era and
Mm-hmm.
the FBI and the DOJ in Massachusetts were corrupt also. They were all in on it together.
And
It
remember
looks
back,
like right now the FBI, DOJ, and U.S. Attorney like Joshua Levy,
yeah,
they're not on the same team anymore with all these corrupt actors in Massachusetts, which is, looking up,
Big,
but I still
big.
have a lot of doubt, a lot of worry.
Because it's big, it's huge. I agree with you. I see exactly where you're going, Scott. Yes.
Aussie Insider, I was talking to her the other night and she was, curious about, how somebody like me or you or, Sean McDonough or whatever can kind of understand like the big picture of the corruption,
Yeah.
and so I kind of went there with her, what I know, and, trying to explain to her somebody like Judge Cannoni and how she rises to power, and somebody like DA Michael Morrissey's history and his ties into all the power in Massachusetts and where these people came from. To give her the history of what's up behind a lot of this.
So here's kind of another problem. It's not just that, but it's what they think that they can do. I mean, you know what? You want to put someone on the books and give them a job, a high-paying job with benefits, the whole but don't take that and bring it to your head and think because of that you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Well, if you think about it, where some people are even going as far to say that somebody like U.S. Attorney Josh Levy, the feds and the DOJ are building like a RICO case.
Yes, that's what I was.
And then people are like, no way, that's crazy.
No,
The height of corruption in government can't go out that high. It can't go all the way to the governor. But go back. That's why Sean McDonough's guest was so great last night, because she's going back to an era where basically Massachusetts government all the way to the top, plus the feds in town, it was all one big gang, and Whitey Bulger was running it. Billy Bulger was in the state house.
Scott, people that are out there, the outside people, okay? I don't think that they understand that RICO is a big thing, because you can't there's no out. You can't, there's no I accidentally forgot it or he wasn't driving. RICO is you're done if that's a RICO. But Josh Levy, right? The corruption that was in Massachusetts is still in Massachusetts. The corruption is the people that get appointed to these jobs that are making 300,000, 200, 100,000 a year. They don't want to lose it. It's all about the money. That's it.
When people, when I criticize somebody like Judge Cannoni, and I'm like, as soon as the first pretrial hearings were coming and she was refusing to recuse herself, I'm looking at her just shaking my head. I'm like, okay, Bev, I get it. You're doing everything you can do to protect Morrissey right now.
Right.
Because you owe everything to Morrissey. That's the only reason you're even a judge.
And do you think she's gonna go and light Morrissey on fire and expect to have a job the next day? Wait, there was a newspaper reporter who asked Proctor a question. Her job, fired. Remember that lady?
Yeah, I mean it's. But anyways, to see a guest like that, on Sean's show, a lot of people that don't understand like the history of what we're talking about. She
Yep.
filled in people to a lot of stuff that maybe they weren't aware of or forgot about.
So when Whitey was here in Massachusetts, okay, when he was doing his Whitey stuff, people don't even know about that, which is half the problem. Whitey had like a little empire going. One of the things that Whitey did was sell flowers at all of the tea stops. So when you get off the tea, there's a rose you bring home to your girlfriend, your wife, whomever, and you walk away. Whitey would get the flowers for free from the florist in Boston and then pass them out, and all that money was just his. All of a sudden, he hears that the heat's coming down. He can't get out of this one, and he bails. He's gone forever. No one knows where he is. He's just boom, disappeared. The flowers are still being sold, dude. They didn't break up that organization, we'll call it, that Winter Hill gang. Other than Whitey being gone, it was still running. Who do you think,
All the corruption's still there, Tommy. It's just different
I
people
know that.
running it.
Who do you think that Whitey tapped to run the show while he was gone? I'm thinking the guy that
who knows?
guy
You
that-
still have Billy Bulger in the state house.
I know, but I'm thinking the guy that 34 Fairview, guy with a gun, a badge, and the ability to put you in jail. I was told that he was running that little flower shop thing.
I would not be surprised. I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
And that explains why he's not mentioned. Everyone's afraid of him. He gets a friggin' personal escort across the street by the police department. I mean, he's got to be something, right? He's got to be. And then I go and I say something to that guy, Dolly Vision. I said that. I said exactly what is coming out now. I said that a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago. No one listened to a word I said. And then I made a comment about what's his name? The freaking John's brother taking the money and blowing all the money. I made a comment about that. Oh, I got a ration of shit for that. Oh, I was a jerk, asshole. And look at him now. Now it's being I said that a year ago. People.
Well, one way I
up.
try to explain it to somebody. So if you go back to the classic Godfather movies and the classic Mafia,
Yep.
and it was different mafia don heads against each other,
Right.
and the police and feds were always out to get them, and they weren't ever like intermixed. So, but if you really think about it, okay, Tom, if you're like you have a big organized crime outfit.
Yeah.
If you're really, really intelligent, what's your next step?
Hide it.
No. You start getting people badges.
Oh God, yeah.
You start electing government officials.
Mm-hmm.
You start expanding your web into high levels of government and law enforcement.
Maybe the medical
And guess what?
office?
Now you're all on the same team.
You have to be. You have to be. Because once they take that money or once they go corrupt once, it's over. They're always done. It's that line. You cross that line, you can't come back.
And you look at how the DA's offices have evolved over decades, maybe even longer. The fact that we have these specially attached state police detective groups, the CPAC units,
Yep.
under the wings, tight and inside the DA's office. So you got like Meatball over there in Norfolk County with his 18 or 20 troopers.
Yep.
They're all his loyal henchmen.
Well, Scott, think about this, right? If we'll use him for example. If Garino had found that deleted search at 227, how long to die in the cold that Jen McCabe made, the one that she made after she left the house that Colin was in, I got that right. If that happened, if Jen did that search and Garino found it, how would that play with Proctor, Fanning, or Tully? Think about that, right? What's he gonna go and say? Hey, she searched at 227. What's Tully gonna say to Garino? No, she didn't. Done.
Exactly. The fix was in early.
So I think maybe today, I'm gonna go through the invoices I have. I did a FOIA request, or someone did a FOIA request to, I think it was Anne Marie, if I remember. I can't remember, but they did a FOIA request to the state police in regards to Celebrate, because it's a monthly subscription, so they got to pay every month, right? The money, follow the money. So we asked for all the invoices that they've paid to Celebrate, and the lady's like, "Yeah, whatever, give it to them." We have all of the versions of Celebrate that the district attorney's paying for. So if they have Celebrate version 1, and Garino said that they don't have version 1, they have version 2, what then, right?
Yeah, but who's above these people, Tom? That's the problem.
Morrissey.
No, these DAs and the state police detectives that are working in their units, they run unopposed, unsupervised. There's nobody above them. Yes, on paper, technically, maybe the Attorney General's office, and guess who's in there? Andrea Campbell, a plant.
Right. Yep.
And then who's our governor? Maura Healey, who used to be the Attorney General.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna fix it. And meanwhile, you see how like D.A. Morrissey gets so mad at Joshua Levy.
Yeah.
Like, he hates him, because guess what, Meatball? The feds have cleaned it up over there, and you don't have control of them anymore.
Exactly.
And it ain't the Billy Bulger days. It ain't the Whitey Bulger days, and you don't have the feds in your back pocket anymore. Something like a Fat Cat legacy guy like Morrissey. He operated under decades of not having to worry about the feds. They were on his side, actually.
And think about that for a second, Scott. Just think, what could you get away with if you have these guys on your side? Do you think maybe you could walk into, let's say, Taunton? Do you think the state police could walk into Taunton and take what they want out of the evidence locker? Do you think they have that ability?
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff, of course.
So,
early on, even in the whole Karen Reed thing, when we were discovering the feds were possibly on this,
yep.
Our pessimism, my pessimism, are like, oh, the feds, really? Come on, what are they going to do? They're all corrupt too. You know what I mean? Because we're going by history. But as time is going on here, and then I see, finally Falwell gets nabbed by the feds on this creative, by the way, and I'll give Joshua Levy credit for that charge.
Yep.
Then I'm like, wow, maybe Josh Levy and those guys over there in the U.S. Attorney's Office and the DOJ have cleaned it up, and maybe they are actually trying to do something about the massive corruption in Massachusetts. Like, I didn't want to put my trust in that, but I, as I stand here today, I have a lot more faith.
Right. So I know exactly where I also know what you're talking about. Like, maybe, just maybe, like, the right thing will get done. Just maybe. And maybe it is Josh Levy, right?
But, the problem is, early on, Proctor's taking all the heat for this. Proctor Proctor's just one rogue,
Right.
dirty detective trooper that acted solely to save his buddies, the McAlberts. And that's when I was, having back and forth with somebody like, Aiden,
Right.
because Aiden's like refusing to believe the scope of the conspiracy in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying to Aiden back then, I'm like, look, there's no way Proctor did this by himself. I mean, the whole DA's office had to be in on this.
Exactly. Yes.
He couldn't have pulled it off. You gotta look at the bigger picture here.
But they did, right? And people have to notice and realize that this is not the first time.
Right. And then, you got to realize. So go back to my thing about, okay, what would the smartest mafia don do?
Right.
He'd get people in the police department. He'd get people elected to state rep. He'd
Right.
somehow get control of the probation departments, the legal judicial system, the mass trial court. You start planting people in probation, planting people in judges' robes.
Yeah.
But how many decades is that gonna take to get there?
Well, and here's the problem.
But they had gotten there.
They've already done that. They've already filled all these seats with their friends. Okay, the people that are friendly to them. I'm going to put all my friends in positions of power. So then, when I have an issue, I'll take care of that because it's paycheck dependent. If you don't take care of it, you're not getting paid. You're getting fired. Then what do? It's all about
But
then money.
here's the other thing, Tom. How do you get away with it? How do you have a criminal like Billy Bulger in the State House and not have the public attacking Beacon Hill with pitchforks and torches?
Yeah.
You get control of the mainstream media. And now you have the mainstream media just spewing lies and gaslighting the public all day. So you quell the public and you dull the public's knowledge and you deflect and redirect the public's attention.
There you go.
And you think about even in the Billy Bulger, Whitey Bulger days and all the massive corruption and everything going on. If you opened up the Boston Globe, everything's hunky dory. Everything's great.
Yeah, no
You
problem.
know what I mean?
whatsoever. Yeah, we're doing great. Right. Yeah. So, like, I have a question for you. The second trial, if it happens, okay, what's the one big, you get to pick one. What's the one thing you want brought into trial, if it wasn't already?
Well, I think this major battle that's waging right now between Meatball and the feds,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see Josh Levy unleash way more Tui. We might even have more arrests between now and January. I don't even know if there's going to be a trial, but if there is going to be one, you just had Ken Reed's defense team finally file the appeal to the Supreme Judicial Court in Boston.
Yes.
For the double jeopardy thing.
Yep.
We got jurors coming forward saying, no, we voted, not guilty on 1 and 3.
So, I have a time out.
Beverly Cannoni screwed up the whole trial.
Scott,
But that was her job, right? That was what she was supposed to do.
I got a question. What if the jury, the people in that room, if they didn't think that it was what, homicide second degree? If they
all the jury, you had a few people that are I don't understand their thinking, and I don't want to keep criticizing these jurors, but the only thing these people were fighting over for 4 days, day one, they already had decided not guilty on charge 1,
Bingo.
not guilty on charge 3.
Yep.
The next 4 days of their deliberation, they were arguing the second count, which had the multiple lowers.
Yes.
And then you have a few people on that jury, either they lied during jury selection or whatever. They have deep biases toward OUI, for example.
Right.
So they're like, you know what? We got to find her guilty of something. I hate drunk drivers. She did it. And they're ignoring like the facts.
Right.
Or did you have another juror that might be looking at it saying, well, Officer O'Keefe is dead. They haven't proved to me who did it, so this Karen Reed that I don't like, say a juror didn't like her,
Right.
We can just throw her guilty for one of the lowers in count 2 and be done on our day along, you know what I mean?
So how if they right off the bat said she didn't hit him or there's no accident, okay? If that's what they thought, how can they get her on anything else? Because it revolves around the vehicle striking John.
That's why I'll say any jury that was voting guilty on any of the lower counts, even in charge 2, you just said that she didn't hit him on purpose. So if she didn't hit him on purpose, she didn't hit him by accident either. So how can you found guilty on any of?
Exactly. Like how? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's why juries are scary anyways.
Oh.
I mean, one of the problems with jury selection in our modern times, when our founding fathers wanted civilian juries and trials,
Yeah.
that was a stopgap against a corrupt government. That was the whole point of a civilian jury. Because they were under English rule, and they saw how England ran the courts, and it was so corrupt. Our founding fathers, they were like, okay, this is how we stop government corruption from being a runaway train. When somebody's on trial, we're not going to have these corrupt judges in courts as the final say. We're going to have a jury of the public that isn't connected to these corrupt politicians.
Right.
Be in the courtroom, hear the evidence, and a jury of your peers decides whether or not you're guilty, not what your corrupt government is telling you. You know what I mean? That's what the jury system was put in place for.
And again, why do they leave their notebooks in? Are they locked up? Who has possession of them? Who's allowed to touch them? Because like a crime scene, that's evidence. That is a compilation of everything. Listen, real quick, please pass the pepper. Thank you so much. They sent me a Venmo here, and let's see what they said. All right, the foreman wrote a tome on their feelings, yet he never mentions not guilty verdict on 1 and 3. I'm calling BS on that guy. This is double jeopardy, and it sets precedents for future cases for all our family members. Yep. So the jury, like you're talking about, Scott, right? The foreman was picked before anything. How does that work?
Well, see, the way Massachusetts runs trials, especially in Superior Court, is very antiquated. The rules, like the jury can't see the transcripts, they can't get readbacks.
Right. And is that normal?
To me, a modern jury should be able to go into that deliberation room and have access to what we see every day in the public, right? Every day, every night we went home and we watched the day's testimony. You could go on Melanie Little and read all the documents or whatever. That jury sits through that prolonged on purpose trial where Adam Lally put 60 something witnesses in front of them and lulled them to sleep every day. The jury was being held hostage. And they go through this whole entire drawn out trial. All they got is their notepad. They go into the deliberation room and now they get questions. Hey, do you remember what happened in week 3 when so-and-so was on the stand and everybody's going back through their notebooks?
Right.
And then one of the jurors is like, oh, could we go get the transcript or maybe we can see a copy of the tape? That's not allowed in Massachusetts.
And remember the jury, they asked for something specific. Remember?
Oh, the jury questions are even severely limited in Massachusetts. If you look at other states, states that have kind of modernized their court system, there's some states where the jury can come back into the courtroom with all their questions and bring witnesses back on the stand where the jury has like participation in the process.
So I wonder who has access to those books, those notebooks, Scott, right? The jury, they had a question about the cert team, and the judge said, no, tough, nope, don't need to worry about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you look at the worst case scenario where you get a trial that's basically being rigged,
Yeah,
you got a judge like Canoni saying, nope, whatever you heard, whatever's in your notebooks, that's it. Time's up. Go back into the deliberation room and good luck with this one.
I don't see how.
And she gives the convoluted jury instructions, screws around with the jury, the verdict slip. It just makes it really hard for a jury. My dream one day would be the jury sitting back there. They got video monitors. They got tapes of the whole trial. They can go back and rewatch testimony. They got any document they want. You know what I mean? And the other problem with juries is, a lot of people don't understand their civic duty as a juror.
Right.
You're basically going in there as the ultimate critic of your government. To be a good, true juror,
Yep.
you have to go into that trial a complete pessimist. You have to sit in that jury box every single day and say, here, I'm a jury of this defendant's peer that's sitting here as the defendant.
Yep.
And the proper way a jury's mindset should be is you're sitting there as a juror and you're saying to yourself, say, for example, in the Karen Reed trial, there's Karen Reed. I'm a jury of the public.
Right.
I am one of Karen Reed's peers. So now I'm sitting there from day one of the trial. Okay, government, prove to me beyond a reasonable doubt
Yeah.
that Karen Reed sitting over there is guilty because she's one of my peers. And then you turn and look at the judge and the prosecutor and the police that are on the stand. I'm a jury of her peers, civilian.
Right.
And I'm looking at my government and my police. I don't trust you. Prove to me that this woman sitting here is guilty.
Right.
That's how a jury's mindset is supposed to be.
And
That's
again,
what reasonable doubt is all about.
they would not allow that to happen. To include the judge. First off, that you have a skewed investigation, right? That's wrong. So if you were to ask a question, a normal question, you can't even get an answer because they didn't do the work at the crime scene. So from the second that 911 call was made, everything has been wrong. The whole thing. And if everything is wrong, how can they take Karen Reed and put her up there and say, you did this, when everything that they have to base it upon, everything is skewed, broken, damaged, missing, whatever you want to call it. It's all screwed up. And they put Karen on the stand and say, you're it, you did it, no questions asked. And they're so convinced in a big way, but they have no evidence. How?
Well, one of the things that's gone awry is jury selection and how it's when you hear me criticizing modern juries
Mm-hmm.
and why I'm scared of them, it's because of how the jury selection process has evolved. The way jury selection is run nowadays. So obviously, you just heard my opinions, right?
Yeah.
I would never be selected for a jury if I was honest,
Huh.
because I would be like, yeah, my job as a juror is to believe all you people are liars, and I'm like pro-defendant.
Right. Right.
But that's because of my constitutional views, not that necessarily I don't trust police.
Right.
But that's one of the first questions they ask you in jury selection. So immediately I'm eliminated. And then there's been many history of cases where convictions were overturned because defense appeals, proved one of the jurors was somebody like me or
Right.
or the opposite of me. So the way what they've done to fix that over the decades, even longer, is the jury selection process.
Yep.
So people with strong opinions or whatever, they're all eliminated. So what happens by the time how many people did we see coming in for jury selection for the Karen Reed trial, Tommy? We were
A
all
lot.
there.
Man, there was a lot of people, wasn't there? Was it 150 a pop they had running across the street?
On certain days, yeah, they
lot
were
of
going
people.
through 100 people a day.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is, through the modern jury selection process, it weeds out a true jury of your peers. Sometimes you end up with people
Yes.
that are. I mean, I don't want to get too critical, but yeah, you end up with jurors sometimes that literally have no opinion either way, or
Right. Right.
they're
They
just,
want to be on a jury. That's it. No other reason. They just want to be on the jury.
you put 12 of me on that jury and I acquit Karen Reed in 5 minutes.
Yep. Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. Scott, the evidence that they brought to court was nothing. Hence why you needed Lally to do this, because I don't think any other lawyer would be able to do what he did. Scott, you were inside the courtroom. You were in there. You saw Lally one-on-one when he was doing his thing. How hard was it for you to sit there and listen to this guy?
I mean, I was in there on an interesting day. It was the end of Matt McCabe's cross and the beginning of Jen
Yeah.
McCabe's direct.
Yeah.
Which like it was a big day, an important day.
Yeah.
And there was still portions of that day when you got Lally droning on and you're sitting there like literally falling asleep.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the more important days of the trial. I was lucky enough to go in on.
And people don't realize, like, when you're in that courtroom, you can't do anything. Stone faced. You can't laugh, smile, frown, nothing. You just have to physically be there and can't react. I was amazed that the jury didn't have a problem with Lally. I'm shocked. I don't know how they got through that whole Lally deal. I give all of them credit, regardless of how they voted. If they went through that Lally thing with us, and they had to do it every day, Scott, every day.
Yeah, but that was part of Lally's strategy, to be honest. I
Man.
think, but we'll just put these jurors through torture with like all these meaningless witnesses and drag it out.
All right. So
And then the defense is like left with the least amount of time. I mean, the defense could have brought a lot more witnesses, but they were like maybe sometimes too confident in the case. Like, like
right.
maybe
Yeah.
the jury saw what we see and they're going to go back there and say not guilty. I mean, no way.
Yeah, I was a little disheartened when the judge told Karen's defense team that, listen, we're gonna go. We have 10 days, and that's it. Like she put the restrictions, the cases that the trial's ending here. definitely going to end here. And Lowry's got what, a month of calling anyone he wants to talk to him, what if any, blah, blah, blah. But yet when it comes to Karen's turn, her defense team, nope. You get like a week. Have a nice day.
And then you
was
read
wrong.
you read that interview, part 2 that Aiden did with that juror, the EMT that was on the jury.
Yep.
And you're reading some of his answers to questions and what they were doing. They were coming up with their own theories of the case.
You heard that, right?
I'm like, what are you people
wasn't
doing?
just-
No.
That wasn't even part of anything. You made it up.
That's it. I'm reading it like tearing my ears off. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you can't.
Yeah.
That's not what a juror does. You can't like sit there and try to twist and bend and come up with your own theory. Oh, maybe he fell down in the car. I mean, what are you talking about? You only go by the evidence that was presented in the trial. Like, you can't just come up with your own theories. That was crazy to see that.
Listen, I if there's any juror that's listening to me and Scott right now, I'm more than happy to have you on the show. You can do what Scott does. You don't even have to show your face. More than happy to come on, and maybe you can explain to us how you guys got to where you got, because like I'm really confused. Like, they're making stuff up that wasn't even part of the trial. It's out in left field. I'm curious about that stuff. How did that get presented? Did somebody bring it up? Did somebody think that was the deal? You know? So,
I mean, Bev picking the foreman before they have the lottery to decide who the alternates were. If you're a pessimist like I am of the system and believe in the depth of the corruption, you can see how if you have a biased judge, she can set it up the way she wants. Like, I'll get this guy to be the foreman. We'll have the lottery.
I'll only let certain
And then if I got somebody spying on the jury and reading their notebooks at night, I'll find a way to kick off the strongest not guilty jurors. But then again, then we got our tinfoil hats on again.
What was the reason again that they removed those 3 jurors, Scott? Do you remember? Remember they removed 3 of them?
I slightly do. I don't quite know all the details.
Maybe the chat. Maybe the chat knows why were those 3 jurors removed from the jury? I don't.
Wasn't one of them accused by Fanning or somebody to being at a bar in Canton and talking about the case or some crazy story? I do remember that off the top of my head.
I think this is what happened, if I remember correctly. She went out to dinner. They followed her, and somebody, I don't know who, maybe one of the state troopers, like Mr. State Trooper Fanning, said that she was speaking about the trial at a bar. And that's not true. But what he said was that they have video evidence of her at the bar. But guess what? I'm pretty sure because she's on a jury, that means like she can still go out to dinner with her husband. But nope. They saw her out to dinner and they said she's talking about the case and they kicked her off. But that's one. What about the other 2, Scott? Why did they get rid of those other 2 jurors? I would like to talk to them and find out why.
Well, say what some believe, like the foreman was a plant,
right? I can see that.
Maybe he's ratting out some of these jurors that he's trying to help get kicked off the jury. I don't know.
Again, if we had a juror out there that would like to talk, more than happy to chit chat. Because it's all confusing to us. We don't see how you guys got to where you got. And again, we're biased. We have so much more information than what the jury was given, right? So we got to work around that too, right?
Right. But I mean, you had some, I'm sure if you're one of the more adamant, not guilty jurors that was in that deliberating room, and you might be, not arguing, but deliberating with another juror that's opposed to your opinion.
Yeah.
and now you got a question where you're all you got is your notes, right?
Yeah.
And you're
yeah.
like, no, that's not what Matt McCabe said.
Yep.
They can't even get a transcript to read back in the deliberation room. I'm saying one way we could fix juries in the future is juries should have access to a lot more of the transcripts or readbacks, and I would say to go even farther, and the jury would be able to sit back there and replay testimony.
Right.
It would make a juror's job so much easier. They
Well,
wouldn't be relying on notebooks like it's 1932.
Again, this is so not right. Oh, I have something for you. I have a question. I need to play this. I want your opinion about this, Scott.
All right.
Here we go. Is this it? Yep. All right. Check this out. All right. Microdots did this. And I love Microdots. Here we go.
You know if there was any alcohol or drugs involved?
He been out. They had been out.
They've been out drinking. Was any alcohol or drugs involved?
They had been out. They had been out. They had been out.
They've been out drinking.
I'm sorry. Did you just say he's been hit? Hit by who? Exactly. You cannot mean by Karen Reed. And that's because, according to you, that thought didn't cross your mind until later. So please tell us, Jennifer, who was it that really hit John?
You know.
Imagine that, huh?
Well, that's another clear picture of, you got Karen Reed running around out there screaming her head off in panic, and there's Jen sitting in the car and all calmly trying to craft her story already.
Listen, that in itself, if you rolled up on a friend of yours who you invited over and he's on the ground, not moving, not saying he's one way or the other, but he's just on the ground. You invited him over.
Oh,
How come you don't get out of the car? and go
no! If
check on
if
your
this was
friend?
legit, Tommy, all three of them would have been out there running around screaming.
I know. Legit. My friend. How do you not stroke out? And she's calm, cool, collective. Just like when she says 227 didn't happen. It did. It did. I can't get by that.
Well, the DA's office and Garino and Fanning, they had to make sure that 227 never happened. You even had one of the jurors in one of these juror interviews say that, like, if 227 was proved, then, game over.
It's game over. And it's funny. And I'll show it later. But I have experience in that world, we'll call it. And you idiots out there, not the people in my chat, because you guys are the best, but the idiots and the losers that are in my chat right now that are watching me. How you doing, guys? I know you hate me a lot, but you watch me every day. So thank you. I love you. Yeah, I have experience. And I will say that 227 search had to happen. I mean, when you go out to your truck, does it automatically start itself for you because it just does? You have to have input to that vehicle to make it work. Same thing with the computer. Right? The computer doesn't Google how long to die in the cold at 227 all by itself. God damn it. Alexa won't even do that. And again, Josh Levy, I do believe he has all of that communication. I mean, what's it take to get a wiretap on a sitting district attorney's office, Scott? A DA. A wiretap. What does it take for probable cause to get that?
I know. I mean, that's why, somebody like Sean McDonough, or they're like, no, there's more coming. The feds have all this stuff. It's just taking time.
Yep.
It's like even in the Birchmore case, to just solely arrest Matthew Farwell and walk away. No, there's way more to that. Like, you can't just say, oh, it's Farwell. There's a lot more to that. There should be more arrests than that case. There's a much bigger picture here.
So the Birchmore case is not, how do I put this? The Sandra Birchmore case is not a dead issue. It's not like it's not over. It's not even been started yet, you guys. And that's what I don't think they realize. They just arrested one person, just one so far. And I think Josh Levy did that in regards or in response to Paul's lawsuit on Karen.
I was just going to say exactly, but I think more it's the Sandra Birchmore estate civil suit.
Yep, that too, because
you got Reddington trying to get FBI information.
Imagine
to
that.
Defend somebody, but Reddington's not stupid, right? He's trying to get FBI information for somebody like Jen McCabe, because he's representing her too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think Josh Levy had to get creative. Like,
well, look what he did with the Sanders thing. That's creative.
That's what I'm talking about. So he's like, damn. Oh, witness intimidation. We'll arrest Farwell for, unaliving a witness.
Right.
I was like, that's genius, Josh. I like that one.
Mm-hmm. So,
but there's major collusion and corruption in that case. It's not just Matthew Farwell was a sole actor that walked into an apartment and there was corrupt Canton police investigating it, and then of course DA Michael Meatball's infamous SS squad that came in.
Yep.
Oh no, it's a suicide. This is all good. Wrap it up, boys. No, there's way more to this than just Matthew Farwell.
Yep.
That's why I think there's a lot more shoes to drop on that one too. But it all ties together. So we're in Joshua Levy's office, right?
Yeah.
And you get the FBI guys running around, and everybody and they're in the war room.
Yeah, they have one.
And they're like, oh, geez. So we got Morrissey, Fanning, Tully, Garino, Proctor, Buchanan. We got major actors on the Canton police. We got these Stoughton cops. Where do they begin, Tom?
Where does it end? Where does it end, Scott? Stoughton, Canton, the Mass State Police. Those are biggies. Where does that end?
Yeah, I mean, I was saying, Josh Levy, if he casts his dragnet, he's got giant monsters in it already. I mean, it's
all right.
It's not a massive undertaking they're doing if they're actually, hopefully, pray to God that he's trying to do this, but to really do this, there has to be many more arrests. Some of them cops or higher up in our government.
And there you go. How high up is this gonna go? Right? How many cops are involved? We're hearing new names, dude, from Boston Police Department. Them people are just as corrupt, guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And better yet, they're the ones that did the investigation into Justin Root. Another one, so you have 3 cases, Justin, Sandra, and Karen, where Boston police were involved. And nothing's done about it. I saw this. Sean made a great comment. Brian Albert, freaking wow. What a nice guy. What a real nice guy this guy is. He goes to New York to a funeral to a cop that he never knew. He didn't go to John's funeral.
Yeah, but Tom, we know what those going out of state for
Right. We know that.
officers' funerals things are all about.
It's like a family meeting, right?
No, it's basically a field trip of drinking and hanging out with the boys most of the time.
Yep. But again, if he was who he was with Whitey, it was a family trip.
No, you get basically you're on the clock to go to those funerals, and
Oh yeah, and they got paid, all of them, even Berkey. I thought Berkey wasn't. If he can go to a friggin' funeral, how come he can't work?
right.
And I know
Well, you're probably on light duty status. Doesn't mean you can't go hang out and drink with the boys, I guess.
I mean, look at Kevin. He's got stage 9 cancer, and he's walking around fine like there's nothing wrong.
Oh, he's speaking of microdots videos. Did you see that real short one he did about the McCabe's testimony side by side?
I did. Let me find that because that's beautiful. Perfect.
That goes back to all the coaching Lally gave him in the DA's office to prep him for their testimony.
Yep.
They're basically reading off the same script. That was hilarious.
I'm gonna find that right now. That was nice. They did perfect too. All right.
And that, that's the other thing. When you see how closely DA Morrissey's office was working with the witnesses, the McAlberts, if you will.
Yep.
I mean, how is that ethical? Like, I don't get it.
I got nothing. I don't have an answer. I didn't think it was ethical.
No, I mean, I guess on paper, ADA Alan Lally is the attorney for the state, and these are his witnesses. So you get to talk to your witnesses and prep them. But the way they're doing it is like
a little bad,
over the top.
Well, let's show people, Scott. Let's show people how well they were prepped. Here we go. It's 14 seconds, and you're gonna listen to every bit of it. Here we go.
Matt and Jen McCabe stick to the script. In 3, 2.
John never went in the house. It wasn't a story. It was the truth.
Matt and Jen McCabe stick to the script. In 3, 2.
John never went in the house. It wasn't a story. It was the truth.
Yeah. Imagine that. This is a murder trial, by the way. This is for Karen Reed, who's on trial for the rest of her life. This is her life. And they're all just lying.
Oh, and I'm seeing that comment in the chat by Lynn there.
I'm looking, Lynn.
And that's true. These witnesses aren't supposed to be in the courtroom before they testify, and they're not supposed to watch the trial in the preceding days. You know all these McAlberts were watching every single day of that trial before they took the stand and being coached by Lally every day.
And again, right, Scott, this is a trial that should be overwhelming. It should be a slam dunk. If what they claim happened, it shouldn't take more than a week of trial. Right? Facts.
The
right?
trial
Facts.
should have been a lot shorter. I mean, we've been talking about that forever. Like all these witnesses that Lally called and how useless they were. Like
Exactly. Why?
And even some of these jurors whose opinions, I don't agree with, even that have given interviews to say like Eden.
Yeah.
you know, they said the same thing. Like the Jamaica girls were a waste of time.
Yep. Why?
You know, Higgins text with Karen were they ignored all that. They even the jurors that might have been pro state that maybe were voting guilty on count 2.
Yeah.
Even they didn't really give any weight to a lot of Lally's witnesses. They thought it was irrelevant testimony.
And there's some things that they put weight on. I don't understand. I don't.
Well, I mean, every human being that serves on a jury is going to come from different backgrounds, whatever. Nobody's going to all have the same opinion. And you don't want to slam somebody on stuff like that. But at the end of the day, in a jury deliberation room, you have to sit there and say guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yep.
And in Massachusetts, it's supposed to be even more. It's to a moral certainty. Like you might have like your biases toward like drunk driving, and you are toying in your mind on the lowers in count 2.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to follow the rules of the deliberation. You know what I mean? Like if I'm in that deliberation room with that juror and I say, okay, I get it. You know, like you hate drunk drivers, no matter what.
Right.
But listen, we've already agreed 12-0, not guilty, that she didn't hit him on purpose. She didn't. So that means she didn't hit him. You know, you might have your deep thoughts and feelings about drunk drivers, but they didn't even prove she was drunk, and we just agreed she didn't hit him on purpose. So that means she didn't hit him. Like,
and how do they get?
So you have to sit there. So this just is imagining me like talking to the other juror in the room.
Oh my God, no, I can't.
So I'd be like, look, I get it, but you have to. You can't say guilty unless it's beyond an absolute reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. So that means you vote guilty today, you have to live with that the rest of your life. And like Aiden said last night on the show, would you bet one of your child's lives on guilty?
What if it was their son, daughter, mother, father? What if it was a loved one?
So
right?
no matter what your personal biases or thoughts might be right now, you got to put them aside, babe. No.
Yeah.
It's beyond a reasonable doubt. If you can't say that, then it's a not guilty. Sorry.
And again, this is a murder. They're you know, I mean, they think she intentionally, on purpose, hurt John. Didn't happen. She didn't have a reason to hurt John. But did the people in the house?
And the other thing that was frustrating, it's like, okay, so they think she hit him by accident. She was drunk. I hate drunk drivers. She had to hit him. But they're looking at the evidence that was presented in trial, and it wasn't fitting that theory either. You know, the Trooper Paul crime scene whisperer and stuff, you know, he's saying the car hit his arm and he did a pirouette and flew 10 feet onto the lawn. And so even the people that have their biases and they want to find her guilty on count 2, they had to ignore that story because it was so outrageously ridiculous. But now they're in the deliberation room trying to come up with their own theory.
Exactly.
It's like, no, what are you doing?
It's not you don't do theory stuff in there. You do not.
The state didn't prove their case. It's not guilty. That's it.
Yep. So again, I can't see how they got to even one of their answers. Just one of them. I can't see it. I mean, and that just puts all that doubt on that last one, the one that they haven't ruled on. But and here's another thing. Karen's lawyers are taking that to the Supreme Court. That got filed yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
See, but I don't know. I don't know if that just goes in front of a single justice or if that goes in front of the whole panel.
That's a good question. I mean, it goes to quote Superior Court, right? But
no, like remember they they challenged the Rule 17 motions by Bev in the middle of the trial
Yeah.
for like Jen McCabe's phone records or whatever.
And they got
They
them-
shoot a
that's right.
quick.
Yep.
They shoot a quick appeal up to the Supreme Judicial Court in Boston, and just one of the single justices up there does it, by him or herself.
Yeah.
And then they quickly send back a ruling, and it actually went in Karen Reed's favor. But this time they're filing a much bigger case, like basically challenging the result of a whole trial and making like huge like accusations, like double jeopardy and all this stuff. This might be different. It might be a hearing at the Supreme Judicial Court in front of the full bench judges.
Right.
You're
Right.
kind of like going to SCOTUS in Washington. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some cases go to SCOTUS, and it's not always in front of the whole Supreme Court. So I think this appeal here, it might be more formal. It might be, an actual hearing in front of the Supreme Judicial Court with, Weinberg and Jackson and Yannetti and Little, like testifying in front of the
Right.
Supreme Court. But that I don't know.
So I got it up here on the screen. All right. It said July 22nd is when they informed the lawyers of Karen's team that Trooper Proctor suspended without pay and was subject of an internal investigation on July 22nd. On August 29th, a month later, they provided the extraction of Proctor's work cell phone to the DA's office. September 4th, the Massachusetts State Police provided content from Trooper Proctor's work cloud account to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. What about his personal cell phone that he uses on that? Right?
Yeah.
It's got to have personal stuff on his personal phone. Phone cloud makes sense. I'm just trying to go. It's just no. They want ongoing grand jury proceedings, autopsy records, and photographs, and other sensitive, privileged information. If disclosed, not only jeopardize law enforcement efforts, but could pose as a physical safety risk to individuals and the public alike. Yeah.
Well, they're basically protecting against, what they're saying is there's a bunch of stuff on Proctor's phone that deal with other cases.
All
So
right.
you're going to jeopardize his other cases, in other words.
So here,
Even though all of those cases that Proctor had his fingers in the pie are already in big trouble anyways.
The Norfolk District Attorney's Office is exploring hiring an outside firm to examine the phone and cloud data to ascertain what information is discoverable. Huh.
Well, that's Morrissey's way of saying they want to, when they want to go through Aiden's phones, they have to have a panel overseeing it that they're not grabbing. What do they call it? I already forgot. That's what they're talking about.
Judge has to get a warrant.
No, like they can't even go through Aiden's phones until they have a process where there's a neutral party sitting there saying
taint team.
Yeah, taint team. That's basically what Morrissey is saying, because he's the highest law in the state, basically.
Yep.
He's saying that if you're gonna get all of Proctor's phones, we have to have a taint team, but it would have to be an outside neutral party that comes in to act as the taint team, if you will.
Yeah, right. So that again, they walked in, they grabbed the dispatcher's phone, no questions asked. Give me your phone. No warrant.
Well, I mean, she didn't have to do that. She complied to that, but
at the same time, is if they found evidence on that, is that I don't know if that's even they can't prosecute
Well,
her because there's no they
every
didn't get
she voluntarily gave up the phone, so I guess whoever grabbed it from her can just say that she gave it to me.
Proctor did. Proctor, Tully, and Buchanan.
But what he does with that information after that could be potentially illegal. I don't know. She should have
Yeah.
never gave it to him, but I get it. She was, scared and
Well, yeah, they walk in. She's working. There's cops, so stadies all around you. How do you not? Right? How do you not?
basically
I
once
would've done the
again, DA Morrissey's SS squad rolls up on somebody and the person got scared. Like, what are you gonna do?
And that's the truth right there. And the people that are telling the troopers to get off their lawn, get off their property, gotta love it. Gotta love that.
I mean,
All right.
basically, that's what that's been all about. DA Morrissey's troopers running around trying to squelch people, the Canton Nine, arresting Aiden, going after the dispatcher because
She ran a plate.
we're exposing all the corruption in this, and DA Morrissey was using his troopers to terrorize the countryside and stop the criticism and diving into the corruption here. They were trying to stop it.
Yep. And look at where we're at now. So Scott, there's a standout this weekend. Was it Saturday, I believe?
Yeah, Canton PD again.
Yeah, Canton PD, Saturday, right?
Yeah.
12 o'clock?
I think it's noon to 3.
Noon to 3. We did that before. We walked up the street. We all parked in that little parking area. That was nice. Remember that? That little park?
Yeah.
We all walked up the street. So.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be as big as last December, but we should have a good crowd.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right. I think it'll be real good. So,
And then we got next Thursday.
State House. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a good one. And the people there coming today.
Well, we're going to have a lot more people this time. I mean,
the duck boats.
Aiden's going to be there.
Yeah.
We're going to have, I guess we're going to have a podium set up and have some speakers.
Yeah. And I can't wait to record it for you guys. So everyone that's here, heads up. You can get some video coming in. We got Saturday and then Thursday. That's on the schedule. Cool. All right, bud. I'm going to call it a show.
All right.
I got, I made a video. Let me see. When did I make this? 11 months ago. All right. I made a video about my qualifications, like my just stuff. And I'm going to play it for the audience because someone asked me a question. I was a police officer and I was there for 3.5 years and it was corrupt as it is now. And I was lucky enough that I was able to leave and not turn back. So what I did, I worked one summer. I worked a bunch of details, saved up all my money, and then I opened a computer company, and that went through the roof right off the bat. And then I went back to the chief and I said, you know what? I don't want to make $22 an hour standing on the side of the road anymore. I'm going to go make $80 an hour fixing computers. Thank you very much. And then I left being a cop and I went to do computers and I'm retired from that and it's all good. So, people don't realize it, but being a cop is not easy, and I went to the academy like everyone else. So, that not an auxiliary. I was a real cop, not a big deal. I was lucky to get another chance at another job and I took it. So that's that. And in the meantime, I went to do all computer stuff and I got noticed, obviously. And I got featured in a couple magazines. And I made a little video for Mr. Garino, who can't seem to find deleted information, which is just bizarre to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play on this. It's 10 minutes long, and I'm going to leave that as my outro. so you guys can watch it. So if you guys have any questions, please send me an email, cputom@gmail.com. If you want to support the channel, please, Venmo, Cash App, very much appreciated. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Mike's on vacation. He'll be back. And that's that. And we will see everybody, including Scott, Saturday. Scott, thanks a lot, big guy.
All right, Tom.
Nice talking to you again. It's always nice talking to you.
As always, yes.
All right, my friend. Scott,
Bye, everybody.
I'll see you soon, bud. All right. That was awesome. Love Scott. Scott is the only one of that guy. That's a shame. We need a lot of him. He's great. He's just, yeah, he's awesome. All right, guys. I'm going to show you a video. It's just like my qualifications. And I kind of make fun of Nick a little bit. So we'll see what happens here. Again, like, please, subscribe, please, Venmo, please, Cash App, please. Please, you have a great, great, wonderful, super fabulous day. I know I did. Buddy, Elsa, I'm talking just to you. You're the only one that's going to have this link, I think, if I can figure this part out. I'm curious to know if I'm qualified to speak, technically speaking, like in the Garino language, like the wall file. Yeah. I want to show you something. Maybe you can make the determination whether or not I'm qualified or not. I don't know. I think I'm qualified, but of course, I'm not the one to make that determination. I know a little bit about a lot. I know enough that some of the shit that Garino put in his report is just that. It's just bullshit. It's absolute. I can show you. I'll prove it to you later on. Yeah, I can do a deep dive into this, and I plan on it. But let's back up. So my first job, I was a biomedical engineer. I worked at Tewksbury State Hospital. I was in charge of the entire place. You only had a few pieces of medical equipment because of the type of hospital that it was. But either way, they had it, and I had to be responsible for it. I had to be certified in order to fix, touch, even repair the medical equipment. So I had to go to school, whatnot, and I became a biomedical engineer, like that. Biomedical engineer. Biomedical engineering. I took the civil service test. I aced it. Got called from the list. Then I was a cop because I thought it was what I wanted to do. And then I hated the job. Once I got there, it wasn't what I thought it would be. Not even close. So I saved up all my detail money and I opened a computer company. In that computer company, I've done a lot of cool things. A lot of cool things I've done. But one of the things that I guess I'm looking to see that if I'm qualified / if I can be considered an expert is I've been published, not publicized. What's the word I'm looking for? Published. Yeah. This right here. This is a magazine for the techies, all the computer industry people. The guys with the glasses and whatnot, sitting behind a desk. Yeah. Well. Okay. My brother. Smart. He's the smartest guy I know. And where am I? I can't see myself on the whole thing. Page. Yep. And there's me. And this is put a home theater in this guy's house. We hooked up his PC to his computer, to his cable, made it all work. And the PC did recording for TV shows. That's the second page of that article. Yep. I don't know if you've ever been in a magazine, Mr. Greeno, but this one gets delivered to Michael Dell. Michael Dell. Okay. You know the guy that owns Dell? His name's Michael. You don't know him? Well, I was in another magazine. This one's a little more important. It's thicker, a lot thicker. CRN, Computer Reseller Network. This is the techie monthly magazine that comes out, gets delivered. Let's see, where am I here? I think I'm in this one too, Mr. Greeno. Hold on one second. Let me just double check. Where am I here? Let's see. I thought I was. Oh, what's that? Home is where the business is. Get me, my brother. It's all about how a home business going into someone's house, fixing their computer, can lead into other business, like business, because everybody has a job. Somebody works somewhere, and they all have computers. This one too. I'm in this one. I don't know. Where am I here? What's this one? This has got little sticky notes in it, so let's find out. Oh, open the cover. What's that? Ready for open the cover. What warranty? Yep. Dude, you're getting screwed by Dell. Remember that whole dude, you getting a Dell? That's what that was about. Blasting Michael Dell and his people wanting to give us warranties that didn't exist. Oh, the silent majority. What's this? Another op-ed that I'm involved in. That's me. Let's see. What's this? It says page 80. Let's find out what's on page 80. Page 80. Oh, offshore backlash. It's all about the sending all the jobs overseas. What's this? Oh, this one's thick. Oh, this is the one that happened after 9/11. We're worried about the computer industry and technology. Where are we going to go? Is this a bump? What's going to happen? Hey, Mr. Greeno. Mr. Greeno, I'm not sure, but I got fuck centerfold, bitches. Where are you, dude? How come I can't get this fucking thing right? Okay. Here we go. Yeah. So I'm not sure on the next page. Yeah. So needless to say, Mr. Greeno. Why do I want to keep saying that name? If you were, oh, here's my resume, by the way, just so you know. It's my technology profile, dude. You don't know, I don't know if you have one of them, but I have one. Oh, what's that? A second certificate to be a biomedical engineer. Biomedical engineer too. Back to what I was saying. If you were to write a program, Mr. Greeno, and you were to ask the Windows 2000 server for a host file, you have to ask it a certain way, and then it will give you, it'll give you the host file, you know, I don't know if you've ever written a program in assembly that Microsoft has had to make a patch for every single Server 2000 operating system. Have you had to have them make a patch because of a program that you've written? Just curious. But I really want to talk about the wall file and the database file that you're referring to, because I'm pretty sure the stuff you put down on paper is just a bunch of bullshit. So I'd like to go over that later. If you don't mind, maybe we can do a little deep dive into that. But yeah, I'm just curious if I'm qualified. I can't make that determination. Maybe someone can. I can't. Someone can. I can't.